The fourth task that we have, the fourth step, is to require that our students visit the course. And it's not a, hey, students, did you log in? It's a, hey, students, I need you to do something in the course. And the reason that we want our students to access our course, even if we're never going to use discussions, or we're not going to do online quizzes, or we're not going to have them submit online assignments, the reason we want to get them doing that early in the semester is so that they have that experience and they have that practice just in case it's needed, just in case we have to shut campus down for a wildfire or a security threat or another pandemic, right? We want our students to have some of that experience early in the semester when it's low stakes and less important, so that when it does matter more, our students won't have to experience that cognitive load of how do I submit something in Canvas. So here's a suggestion that I have, and there are lots of things that you can do for an in-person class, and I would actually do this in my online classes too, is give your students a syllabus quiz or a pre-course survey, some way of interacting with your students prior to, or again, at the very beginning of the semester. It's a great idea to make this a task that is not worth any points or worth very few points, because that way it's low stakes, right? If the students mess up or if they don't get it right, then it won't hurt their grade too bad. And again, I'm going to give you the suggestion of trying a syllabus quiz or pre-course survey. I'm going to make this as simple and as possible. I'm actually going to have a 1 or 2 question quiz, and again, to make it as easy as possible for someone who's following along and they haven't yet used Canvas very much. So I'm going to go to the quizzes link, and before I click on this link, I'm going to make one comment about the links that are in course navigation. Any link that has the eyeball with the line through it is a link that students cannot see. So my students cannot see the quizzes link on this. However, if I create a quiz, then I link to that quiz from somewhere else inside Canvas, they can access the quiz. So that's an important thing to know, that the list of links on the left side, if there's a line through it, that just means the students can't see that link, but they can see items that were created if it's a link to a tool, like quizzes is. So I'll go to quizzes. There's actually one here that's here by default this semester, which is the assumption of risk waiver. So any of you who are teaching lab classes, this is how we are collecting those risk waivers, is actually through Canvas. So that's the thing that you're doing anyway. So you've already met that requirement if you're teaching a lab class that's in person and you're having your students submit the lab waiver online. So you actually, that's step 4 already taken care of for you. But I'm going to create a quiz here. And again, I'm going to make it a 1 or 2 question quiz. I'm going to call it my syllabus quiz. Do I need instructions? I'm not sure. Because this is a low stakes quiz and it's at the beginning of the semester, there are a couple of options that I highly recommend. Number 1 is to allow unlimited attempts. Why make my students suffer if they make a mistake or they get the question wrong? Let them take it over and over. I definitely would not apply a time limit. And then the quiz type is a good question. Do you want to make this a graded quiz, or I would say a graded survey? Those are the 2 options I would choose. The reason I would not choose an ungraded survey is students appreciate points. And even if it's just like 5 points out of 1,000 or a couple of points out of 100, it's something that they will appreciate, getting some easy points early in the semester. A nice little feel good, right, to start their classes. The difference between a quiz and a survey is that the graded survey, the students get the points no matter how they answer the questions. Graded quiz, there are right or wrong answers. So I'm going to have some right or wrong answers on this quiz. I'll go ahead and select graded quiz. And then the last thing I want to select is a due date. We start class on the Saturday is the 19th. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a due date here of August 26th. Make it due next Saturday. I'm not going to give an until date. If you add an until date on something, that's the last date that students can actually do the thing. Remember, I want to make this easy for my students and easy for me. The due date in this example is just a suggested due date. I'm doing this to meet the requirements, right, under our contract. And so whether or not the student actually submits it on time, I think is probably less important, although I do want them to understand the syllabus. So on the first tab here, the details tab for the quiz, I've got a title, I've got some instructions, I've chosen my options for what type of quiz it is, unlimited attempts. I've given them the assignments a due date. And then actually one last thing I'll say, do I want my students to be able to see their quiz responses and the correct answers? Absolutely. low stakes, beginning of the semester. I don't want this to be a barrier for my students. So now I'm going to go to the questions tab, and I'm going to give 2 questions here. One's going to have a correct answer, and I'm just going to type. So my students know from reading the syllabus that the correct answer is 2 business days. So the incorrect answers are 10 minutes. The incorrect answer is 1 week. And then I'm going to remove the 4th answer here. So by default, a multiple choice question in Canvas has 4 options, including the correct one. I like to have 3 when I write multiple choice questions, so I'll delete this 4th one. I'm not going to worry about any other options here except to say, yes, I have the correct answer identified. This is a 1-point question. Great. I'll click the button to update question. And I'm going to add 1 more question, and that is, okay, again, I have a correct answer, which in my classes is 700. I've got an incorrect answer is 800, and an incorrect answer is going to be 500. I'll select update question. And now I'm ready for this quiz to be saved. And then there's a button here that says save and publish. So once I hit the save and publish button, the quiz itself is published. But remember that quiz's link is hidden from my students. So they won't be able to access the quiz, actually, unless they go to the gradebook. I'm going to select save and publish though. And now I'm ready to add a link to this quiz. And again, focusing on what is the minimum for me to comply, I'm going to stick this link. I'll actually put it on my syllabus page. Why not? Because it's a quiz about the syllabus. So I'll select the edit button. I'll give myself an insertion point here, and I'll write. I selected the text because I'm going to use that as the link text, right? The words that the students actually select to activate the link. While I have it selected, I'll go into the toolbar for the rich content editor. And one of the options here is the hyperlink button. It looks like a chain link. I'm going to select the caret next to it, and I'm going to choose course link because I'm linking to something that's a course tool inside Canvas. Select course link, a tray will slide out. This is going to be a quiz, and the quiz that I want to link to is the syllabus quiz. So I select that. I can close the tray, and then I see the link is there. I'll select update syllabus. And now I have completed step 4. So what I would do in this class is I would tell students, hey students, welcome to class. I'm going to take a roll on day 1. While I'm taking a roll, or at some point I'll say, here's what the syllabus looks like. Oh, and I can pull it up inside Canvas, and I don't have to bring a copy of the syllabus with me. Oh, I don't have my stacks of papers with me. Darn it, I don't care. Why? Because it's in Canvas. So if my students want to print it out, they can go ahead and take care of that themselves. So I've also saved some paper by putting my syllabus on Canvas. So on day 1, I could walk into Canvas and say, hey class, here's our Canvas class. On the home page is my contact information. Here's the syllabus. And while we're here together, after I take roll, I'm going to open up the syllabus. We'll read through it together. And I'll say to my students, if you want to access this syllabus yourself, it's in Canvas. You can access it at any time. You can print a copy if you want. And there it is, right? There's my syllabus. I could read through that, whatever. And I'll tell my students, hey, here's a couple of free points for you. Click on this link and take that syllabus quiz. It's due by Saturday, whenever the due date is. And that way you'll let me know that you have read the syllabus. So that was several steps. But what I did was I created a quiz. I added just a couple of, easy to answer questions, hopefully. I gave my students unlimited attempts. And then I linked the quiz from the syllabus page because it's a quiz about the syllabus. That same thing that I did there, I did a quiz. I could have done a discussion as well, where I have like an introductions discussion. Hey, let us know who you are, where you're from, what you're doing, what's your next step on your educational plan. Discussions I think are really valuable for online classes. I've used discussions in my in-person classes. I'm not sure that I would do that again the next time I teach in person, because I'm interacting with my students in the classroom already. They're acting with each other already because I do group activities in my in-person classes. I'm not sure I need to force the online interactions, but I could be convinced. Thank you for watching this video on how to require students to visit your Canvas course. For additional information, please contact your local LMS coordinator.